Did Shedeur Sanders quiet his haters? We all know he had a lot of haters, right? I know it's just one game, and it's a preseason game at that. I know that, okay? I know that. It's not a quote unquote real football game as far as, official. But you have to admit though, the pressure was on Shedeur. The pressure, Shedeur Sanders had a lot of pressure, and you have to admit, he stepped up to the plate. He stepped up to the plate, right? At the beginning of the game was shaky. Obviously, it's a little missed throws, some bad throws. But man, after a while, he stepped it up, man, and basically threw for 2 touchdowns and drove him down for a third one. I was very impressed by him. I saw him at Colorado, and he did a great job at Colorado, and of course Jackson State. But what he did, man, last night, what he did against the Panthers, was pretty impressive. Again, it's only game one, okay? No need to have a parade. I get that. No need to have a parade. But yeah, what he did last night, wow, it was, now I heard that the Browns coach wants to the Browns coach wants to play him more in game 2 against the Eagles. I believe it's the Eagles, right? That's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be awesome. Again, it's a preseason. I get it. It's preseason. But, coming into this preseason game, he was fourth on the depth chart, which is just, it is what it is. We all know the story of Shedeur Sanders. Sanders was supposed to be drafted in the first round, probably top 5, 10 or top 10 pick. But for whatever reason, we all know what it is. He dropped to the 5th round. All right, and I don't think he should have been that low. He should have been at least for sure the first round. For sure the first round. But it is what it is. He gets his head up, and for now, Shedeur Sanders has quieted his haters. For now, all right. He had an excellent game. Excellent game. Cool, calm. We all know Tom Brady helped train him a little bit, and you can see some Brady in him. The way he was calm, the way he was dissecting the defense so smoothly, I can see some Tom Brady in him. But obviously he's a rookie. Obviously, Shedeur Sanders has a lot more stuff to learn and pick up. But with that being said, he looked good last night. He looked good. Threw for two touchdowns, set up a third one. And the fans, my gosh, the game was in Carolina, but I mean, every time the Browns scored, all you heard was like Brown fans. It's crazy. And let's talk about the elephant in the room. Also, Shedeur Sanders is a fan favorite. Okay, from a business point of view, it's gonna bring the Browns money. It just is. But the difference is that, unlike Bronny James, Shedeur Sanders can actually play his position. So, if I was the Cleveland Browns, have you seen the schedule? First of all, have you seen the Browns schedule? Hey, please, y'all, smash that like button for me. Smash the like button and subscribe. So, have y'all seen the Browns schedule? The first 6-7 games are brutal. Bengals, Eagles, Ravens. The list goes on and on. So chances are Joe Flacco is going to start the season. He's 40 years old. All right, I say that because anybody in the NFL is prone to injury, but the older you are, you're more prone for the most part. So don't be surprised if Shedeur Sanders gets put in game 7, 8. All right, I think game 7 is against my Dolphins. But Is Shedeur Sanders ready for the NFL? Yes. Do I think Shedeur Sanders can have a heck of a year? Yes. A heck of an NFL career? Yes. Right? He still has a lot to learn, obviously. He's a rookie. Some people say he should have been the first pick in the NFL draft. Definitely first round. I thought Pittsburgh was going to pick him up in the first round. I really thought so, but Pittsburgh wanted Aaron Rodgers, and the guy Aaron Rodgers, you know, it's like, I love Pittsburgh, but it's like Pittsburgh is just focusing on 1 year. You know? Instead of getting somebody young and excited like, you know, Shedeur, they got somebody old and, you know, can Rodgers still play? Yes. But how much more years can he give you? And is he going to have an attitude like we know he can? You tell me, y'all. You tell me. But anyway, I just want to, you know, I just want to briefly talk about this, right? Let me know what y'all think.